Hello and welcome. This is the Coincidence Café, talking today about animal connection, communication, and synchronicity with our hosts, Veronica and Jean Carlo Tavares. And we had a opening question for everybody. Just if you could post in the chat, is there a particular animal that you have a connection with? Maybe the pet you tend to have, or something you collect, or an animal that you've had meaningful interactions with, maybe something you think of as your spirit animal or totem. There might be lots of ways you describe it. But what animal, you might have more than one, but what animal do you really connect to or think of as one of your animals? Ooh, we got ravens, squirrels, few with dogs, birds, cats, dolphins, wolves, hawks, eagles, cats and ravens, more cats, wild birds near the house, marine snails. I have a friend
That's
who is
so cool.
just deeply connected with terrestrial snails in her yard. She currently has 17 in a terrarium. She's just going to take care of them for a short period of time and give them lots of love and then release them back to the wild. But she's calling herself a snail farmer. One moved in on a potted plant and she didn't know how he arrived. And it brought her
Aw,
so much joy that she collected some friends and has
little
built them a little
hitchhikers.
colony. Very sweet. Ooh, another eagles, a photo of a gorgeous little orange kitty, hummingbirds. Oh, yes, whales, cats and bears. Yeah, so we've got some really good turtles. Yay, Turtle Clan. Got some wonderful connections already going. So that's going to be the overall realm that we spend our time today exploring this. I'm going to turn it over to Giancarlo. He's going to do just a short arrival practice to kind of bring us all into the space together in this moment, and then we'll turn it over to Veronica. So Giancarlo, to you.
Hello,
Welcome.
everybody. Thank you so much for having me back. Welcome to this episode of your Coincidence Café. I'm Giancarlo Tavares, water ambassador and coach, and it is such an honor to be here with you guys, Greg, Laura, Renee, Sue, Annie, and all of you. Thank you so much, Juliet and Veronica. And I just want you to type in the comments, where are you joining from? And I want you to take a moment just to feel into your heart. Take a deep breath. Move and relax your shoulders, move your body, and just bring your attention to your own energy field for a moment. And I want you to ask yourself, what is the intention that you are bringing? What are you here to give? And also, what is your intention on what you're here to receive? And I want you to set your intention also to very intentionally connect your energy field and start looking at the people in the chat and maybe notice what arises within your own heart, if it feels like a little bit of pushing away, or if it feels like openness, or whatever it may arise for you. Just notice that and welcome that. And like Juliet was saying, if you notice a little bit of a wall, just ask that wall what it needs, and then set your intention to lean in, so we can create a beautiful and connected and grounded time and space together. And I'm welcoming my higher self and your higher selves and the energy of your animal spirit guides to be here with all of us and to bring the gift of connection, of synchronicity, and animal communication. And with that, welcome to your Coincidence Café.
Over to you, Veronica.
All right.
Yes, over to you.
Well, first of all, I'm going to apologize a little bit. I am having a really bad pain day, so if I seem a little out of sorts or anything, it's just my Ehlers-Danlos syndrome is flaring and my joints are being loud. So I'm trying to work with this and still And then I immediately muted myself. Sorry about that. That's exactly what I was talking about. So I've worked with animals in a lot of ways. I've done, I was a dog trainer for a while, and I've worked in veterinary clinics. I've done animal communications, and I also have worked in rescue extensively, both with dogs and cats and with small mammals like rats, mice, hamsters, gerbils, guinea pigs, and all of those guys. Um, and also I've done wildlife. I was a licensed wildlife rehabilitator for a while. And so I ended up with collecting a lot of experiences with animals and spending a lot of time with them, kind of, just being around them. You start to pick up on the way they communicate with each other. And I'm sure most people have been outside and have listened to the birds and have noticed, when you hear one being angry, or one being, or you hear like friendly chatter, or you even may hear them like flirting with each other. That we pick up on those things, and the more you listen to them, the more you the more you start to hear, you start to understand it better. And so a big part of it is just, quieting down our own minds enough to listen to what they have to say. And there's some, as far as I guess I'm going to talk about first the ways that animals kind of communicate with each other, that we have only begun to start to understand. The ways that mice and rats and other small animals talk in ultrasound, and the way elephants use like low frequency vibrations to communicate over long distances, that we can't even understand. We can't process that with our own senses. It's this sort of extrasensory way that they communicate. There's also pheromones and things like that. And if we really, and so we have those, we too have those kind of our own ways of communicating that are nonverbal, that are, that fall into these categories that help I think, dispose us to understanding what they're saying if we listen and if we try. And there's a lot of good resources out there for if you want to kind of learn and expand in that area. First of all, like, I was a dog trainer. Dog training is all about communication. We're not really teaching people how to make their dogs obey. We're teaching them how to communicate back and forth with their dogs, and it's back and forth. It's listening to the dog as much as it is telling the dog what to do, because you can't. There was a time when dog training was all about bossing a dog around, but not only was it cruel, it brought up certain limitations, because you can only compel an animal to do so much. If you encourage them and make them, have a good time and want to join you in games and in a reward-based system, then they really open up with their creativity and the things that they will share with you that go beyond what, compulsive training can possibly do. One of the revolutionary things in dog training lately has been, in the last, we'll say, 30 years, has been the work of Turid Rugas, who I'm going to hold up her book here, on talking terms with dogs. It's a very tiny book, but it was very revolutionary, and because she was the first kind of put down on paper the system of mimicry as a way to communicate with dogs, where we try to communicate back with them using their language, and seeing how they responded. And that, there are many ways that we do it without even thinking about it, but also if we become aware of it, that we can talk to our dogs in this way. Things like how dogs will use dogs will yawn in order to say, hey, everybody, let's just settle down a little bit. It's an active form of communication with each other, or they will do this motion to indicate that they are frightened or uncomfortable. And it helps us to know when we see that we need to back off. We're doing something that is, disturbing this dog, and obviously we're doing too much. Their anxiety is triggered, and it's a very interesting way to. It was really revolutionary in the way that it taught us how to not just listen, but to talk back in their own language. And there's another book I'm going to recommend if you get it. And this one is a much heavier book and it's really big, but and it's kind of expensive, but it is one of the best books that I've ever found on canine body language. And it just has hundreds of photos inside of different dogs interacting and what the body language means. And it's just fascinating. And it opens up, if you have dogs, it really opens up a whole world to us of being able to eavesdrop on their conversations. And it's so interesting to go down to a dog park or wherever you have more than one dog and just watch all of these interactions going on, all of these conversations around us that we don't always notice. It's taken it a step further as well. Lately, a lot of dog and cat and other, the name of the second book, it is Canine Body Language. And I can make a little reading list if we want to send it out later. A photographic guide. And it is, it's available from the publisher, but I think you could also order it through most major booksellers. A lot of people are now taking it a step further, and we've seen other forms of where people have taught animals to communicate with us using our language, which has been revolutionary in getting science to understand animal cognition and start to believe what animal people like us maybe have been saying for a long time, that there's much more in animal cognition than they have been given credit for historically. It's another ism. Speciesism is another way we've kind of taken away their autonomy so we can use them how we will. And science is by teaching animals our languages that we can understand. Science is being kind of forced to understand, to recognize that animals have very deep relationships with each other. They have, they can do math. They can do, many different puzzles. They can understand magic, like magic tricks. Dogs enjoy magic tricks. That there's all kinds of interesting. Dogs laugh, and so do chimpanzees. And there's just a lot of things that we've learned by introducing them to our language. You've probably heard about Alex, the African gray parrot, and since they can speak very well and mimic people's voices, a lot was done with him about bird cognition. And subsequently, after he died, other birds have been used to do similar work with over the long term. Anyway, another thing that people are starting to bring into their homes now are these buttons that dogs and cats can press to be able to speak. And exactly, somebody mentioned Buddy the dog, and to be able to speak, get them to speak with us with words we understand, and to explore their emotions. And I have a quick video that I would like to share that I think really is powerful in showing how this can bring us there, to together with them.
And make sure to
And
click
understand
share
their-
with sound. You know, the little
yes.
check button. Otherwise, there'll be no sound for the group.
Oh, thank you. Share sound. Thank you. Thank you. And I think this is a very powerful way of trying to share. Oh, there we go. That we can learn the depth of their emotions and their and their relationships. And so here is a quick video. I'm going to.
This one is hard. For people who are new, our cat Helix died in February.
Can you make it a little louder, please, Veronica?
Yeah, let me see.
Right down there.
There we go.
Thank you.
Sorry, there's no Helix friend. What word? Litter box. Yeah, it's a shitty word. Yeah. Oh, Elsie. Helix. Friend.
Explaining the cat they have lost recently.
And then I just stared at the board, trying to figure out which of her 94 words would explain this.
Helix friend. Helix friend word is dead.
She was here when we had him put down, so she saw we let her look at his body, but she has struggled. I sped this up since I was offstage petting her, then walked through to my bedroom.
Litter box.
Elsie consistently uses litter box to mean, I don't like this, this is shitty, I'm unhappy.
Soon.
We're jumping ahead about 3 minutes. I've left the room.
I don't understand.
And I need to emphasize, I'm not in the room. This is her talking to herself. And then right here, watch. She reaches for, but does not press the button litter box. And then she just sits.
It's I think a sort of powerful explanation of example of how animals, how deeply they grieve, and it's not just cats. And of course I love that cats swear, because of course they do. I mean, that's just so cat like. But there's evidence of grief that we've seen, and elephants have their own funerary rites, and they can even recognize each other's bones and will carry around the bones of the dead elephants who meant something to them. And we see how profound their loss can be with the chimpanzees who were taught sign language. They exhibited not just sympathy, but empathy, as one of them had noticed that a woman who was one of the researchers had been pregnant and was not. And so she came up to her, where's your baby? Where's your baby? And she explained there was no baby anymore because she had miscarried. And she sat with her and just kept signing, it kept signing cry. And it was just like, you know, um, that they do have friendships that are very deep, and the elephants tend to live together for their entire lives. The females never leave each other's side. They, you know, and so when we break them up, for example, it can be very hard on them. Historically, they've been used in circuses, which will pass them around from circus to circus and just in zoo to zoo. And, and they, and these relationships are torn apart and it's very difficult. There was one who she had been used in a circus in the 30s and then was brought to, she was brought to a sanctuary eventually to be retired. And the sanctuary had to put them in a barn at night to on their first day because they don't want them to just throw them into an established herd without seeing how everybody is going to react and make sure that it all goes smoothly. And so that night she had they put her in their barn, and the next morning they came down and the elephants had knocked down the barn, and one of the elephants was in the stall with her and they were holding each other. And it turned out that these two elephants had been in the same circus in the 1930s together. And after that, they never left each other's side for the rest of their lives and were never out of, Trunk's reach. It's they don't forget people, and that they're going, they don't forget their friends any more than we do. And it's there's that's actually I believe from When Elephants Weep, which is a book that I highly recommend as well about, and like I said, I can put together a list if you'd like, of some books for if you're for further interest, if you're interested. And of course this researchers now are, many of the researchers who did these experiments in the 70s with chimpanzees, for example, have come out, have had to rethink their own relationship with these animals who they used, because, the ethics of keeping them captive and taking them from their mothers and, all of that. And a lot of them have come out and have started, doing work in trying to get these animals basic rights and to get them out of stop being used as captive in captive science, in captive zoos, in all of these situations. So I guess we're getting down to my question, which is, have you had an experience communicating with an animal in some way that has changed the way you look at animals, or has just been particularly meaningful to you? We also, this can also go into the quote supernatural. I had an experience when I first was working at the vet where I was cleaning cages in the room for extremely sick animals, the ones who were extremely contagious, like dogs with parvo and things like that. And I was cleaning it up, and there were no other animals in the room with me at the time. It was empty. I was cleaning up after some animals had passed, and one of the cages starts shaking violently next to me. And I looked around and could not find any reason this cage was shaking. And so I kind of did just what you think, naturally, what comes naturally, and flipped open the latch, and it opened and it stopped shaking. And, bring to that what you may, it's kind of unexplainable. Felt very unexplainable to me. And and he's just a very kind of, it's something I still can't explain. It never happened again. I couldn't find any way that the cage could have been being shaken from outside. It was just very interesting. So anyway, I guess we're hitting right about time to break out. So
Yeah, so most everyone I think will be with 2 colleagues, so 3 in a room. The recording will be off. Anything you say in the breakout rooms is private and confidential. When we come back to debrief, if you want your partner to offer their story, please invite them rather than telling their story to the group, because you may be interested in sharing something in the breakout that's private that you would rather not share in the full group. So please don't tell other stories. Let them do so. Just invite them. And if you don't want to share, that's always fine. Just to say, especially in the full group, no, I don't have anything to share right now. We'll be in the breakouts for 15 minutes, and then you'll get an extra 60-second countdown that'll pop up. If you click on the blue button, it'll take you back to the main room early. But if you click on the white or gray space, you can drag it off your friends' faces. So little tech trick there. And we'll see you all in 16 minutes. And again, have you had a meaningful connection or communication with an animal? Perhaps it involves a synchronicity or a mystery, the way Veronica was just describing. And then we'll see you all on the flip side here.
Welcome back, everybody.
All right. Hi, it's nice to see all of you. Got a few more cameras on. That's really lovely. Good to see everybody. We want to take just a couple minutes and let people reflect on the breakout sessions. If there's anyone who might want to share something from their stories or connections that you found in the breakout rooms. I'll share in my breakout room. Oh, there's Jean Carlo's new kitten who just manifested herself in his life in the past week.
This is Baby Shadow, and we manifested him right after a call. And the day before, my partner and I were like, oh, we want to manifest a kitty. And the one was like, and I want a black one. And suddenly Damon, our 13 years young, found this little cute one outside of his school in a box, like he was waiting for us in a little gift. And he was tinier. He's like twice bigger already. And he's just so beautiful. And he has brought us all together. Like there has been so much transformation this past week. And this little guy has been holding the whole household together. So I just want to honor him and send you guys some baby shadow love.
We'll send some love back to you and Baby Shadow.
Thank you.
We had a couple of meaningful dreams involving our animals, including animals that we've lost in our breakout with Sean and Giancarlo and I. So there was connections on the dream plane, as well as some other stories that we shared. Wonder who else might be willing to let us know how your breakout went. Brooke, I see your hand.
Oh, there's a hand. I guess we're doing it.
Oh, Brooke, you're still on mute. Come off mute.
Dang it. Thanks.
There you go.
Me and somebody else in the breakout both had stories about closing on property that had to do with birds so that was a cool synchronicity that we had. We had synchronicities with birds on our closing, and then we both had that. So pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, Shanice.
Hi everyone. I was just telling Bernie about my cat. Interestingly enough, I have a black cat too. Yes, his name is Seven. My baby old though. Yeah, Seven. That's my baby. And I was telling Bernie that right now I'm trying to learn how to talk to him telepathically, sending him messages and whatnot. And I haven't gotten it there yet, but I do understand his yowls. It's amazing. I've always been a cat person, so every time he yells, it's a different yell. He has his scream yell when he's mad. He has his soft yell. He has his hurt yell. It's interesting to understand those things, and like you just know. I never knew cats could do the thing that we were seeing in the video. I never knew. I've seen dogs do it, but when I saw it here today with the cat, I'm like, oh my God, I kind of want to try that with my baby to see. Because I really do think they be cursing, especially when my baby be with the scream yell. Oh my God, he is definitely cursing at me. So that's what I was sharing with Bernie.
You have to come back and tell us about it when you do. That would be so cool.
Definitely.
And what do you say the name of your kitty was?
7.
7.
So you said Devon for a second. I was like, what?
Yes, his name is 7 because he's definitely good luck. Those black cats are good luck. Anywho, that's another conversation.
And if it's okay to reflect, what I feel from your energy is that you're very clear audience. So you will connect with, and also clear, you will know, and you will start to understand by your listening.
Okay.
So
Cool.
I hope that helps.
Thank you.
Thank you. I see Greg's hand. You can come off mute, Greg.
Okay. So our conversation got into talking about birds, and just outside my window here, a blackbird right at the beginning of the conversation walked by with a gecko in his mouth, probably a dead gecko. And then he sets it down, and then all of a sudden another blackbird came into the scene. And it looked like they were going to have a fight, but they didn't. They took turns eating the gecko. So they communicated and decided this is what we're going to do with the gecko. And so they each got nourished. They're gone now, but it was kind of fascinating. They were, like I said, talking about birds, and all of a sudden this little drama played outside my window. So
That's lovely. And Jean Carlo's holding up his kitty, whose name is 11. So we have a 7 and an 11. Daisy, I see your hand up.
Breakout room, we share how animal make us humble. That what I learned is we're not only really listen, we need to listen with our heart instead of listen what you hear. Really listen our heart. That's what we share about. And thank you very much. I've spoken.
Thank you. Giancarlo, you want to take it away? Take us into our next space here.
Yeah, and that actually connected to a piece that I want to share. And I found this super beautiful video, and I want you to listen and receive to it with your heart. In Hawaiian culture, actually, there's no such thing for like owner. Instead, they use the word kahu. And kahu means guardian, protector, steward, someone entrusted with the care of something precious, someone that is caretaking of a piece of their own soul. Oh my gosh. That touched me so deeply when I watched it, and I think I watched it like 20 times just to really feel into that and just connect, and with the intention to embody more of that, because I want to be better with my animals, with the loved ones that I have been entrusted. And like I was sharing with Sean and Juliet and the other lady, what was her name? Julie, I believe it was. I have always been very connected to my pets. And since I was a kid, because also I'm very extrasensory, and I would always communicate with them. To me, they were not only my pets, they were my teachers and they were my guides, because I can hear the wisdom that they provide. And I remember when I was a kid, one of my kitties, her name was Susie. When I would go to school, she would wait for me she was pregnant in a few occasions. So to give birth, she wouldn't give birth without me. She would wait until I would come back from school after 11:30 p.m. And then she would start meowing and I would follow her and she would take me to the basement. And then I was her doula and I would help her give birth and just clean the kitties from their placentas and revive their lungs and just like the whole thing. And well, and it was like this connection that I have not even experienced with other human beings. And it has always been, oh, look at that doggy that Juliet has, so beautiful. Is it a corgi? What is the kind of doggy? And another occasion, and this goes to the other side of the pole. When I was 17, and I was telling this in the breakout room, there was a circus in our city. I'm Dominican, by the way, Dominican Republic. If you cannot tell, it might.
That was a cliffhanger from Bernie. I think he was probably going to say, it was like because of the dog, it was important to
Yeah.
note these coincidences happen in these moments and roll with it. Maybe not,
Powerful
but
moment in the history of Coincidence Café.
Yep, everybody's getting
well,
back in.
tech glitches seem to happen a lot when energy's really moving.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I can't wait to hear what he wanted to say.
I know.
Yeah, I'm gonna text him to make sure he knows he can just click same link.
That would be a cool topic, by the way, for another discussion, like technology stuff.
Yes. Great idea.
Yeah, we've done it. We've done it once before, but I want to do it again. Yeah, there's so many. If anybody wants to help host a little investigation or exploration of technology and coincidences, just give me a message. Let me know.
Nice. Yeah, I'm feeling major chills. So much energy in my body. Oof.
Yep, we shut down the Zoom. It was like, whoa, whoa. All right. I texted Bernie so to let him know he can just click on the same link. Thanks everybody for being able to click and come back. We got our recording restarted, so we'll be able to keep going.
Baby Shadow is attacking my feet.
All right. So there we go. Jean Carlo, take it away.
Oh my gosh, I wish Bernie would come back and share.
Oh, he may. I texted him, so go ahead and go, and he'll come back. I'm sure he'll remember what he was going to say if he gets back in.
Yeah, I was coming up to touch on again as I was connecting with the collective, all of you before joining this call, I was sensing how
Oh, don't.
there is a lot of grief that has been coming up for many of us, maybe most of us here, because of the beautiful relationship that we've developed with our pets, with our babies. And I just want to share and say that they see us, that they see you, that they're really here with us. If you're missing your baby, if you're feeling grief or sadness or whatever it is that you may feeling, please know that they can hear you. And you know this, and I just want to remind you. And they chose you because they wanted to guide you and to connect you even more with your heart and just to love on you and to help you become the more embodied, multidimensional badass that you are. So I just want to speak so much love into your hearts and into your souls. And my dog from childhood came into a dream a week ago. First time I've seen her, felt like a message. So beautiful. And if anybody is having any memories come up or any of those, please share in the comments. And let's see what else wants to come up, or what else do you want to talk about, Juliet?
Tell us one of your stories about healing with animals.
Okay, so the first one that comes up is the one with 11. Oh my gosh, and there's another one too. Anyways, I'm gonna share both of them. Like 4 years ago, I was actually very depressed, suicidal, everything you can think of in Los Angeles, because I was actually very lonely, very isolated. My reality was not like now that I'm always hosting calls and I have a million communities. Like 4 years ago, I was actually very, very alone. And I felt called to adopt a kitty, 11. And I went with a friend that I was leaving to a rescue. Oh, here's Bernie. I can hear what you have to say, by the way. And when I went there, out of all the kitties, and I was asking them telepathically, okay, who is the one? Who is the one? And then suddenly 11 brought his face up and looked at me, and I just felt like an explosion in my solar plexus and in my heart. And from that moment, I know that he chose me, and I thought he was a female. And from the moment that I adopted him, he has been sleeping right here in my heart. And 11 has been healing my heart from the moment, the first day that I adopted him. And just honestly, I'm still here because of him. Like, I don't know if I would have made it without 11 and him healing my heart in those ways. Another story that I want to share before Bernie, hopefully you want to share, because that was so powerful. The frequency of what you were going to say exploded the whole call. And when I was 17, there was this dog, Mia. She was a mix of Rottweiler and something else. And she got sick and she was vomiting and she looked like she was going to die. And my aunt and the vet, they didn't know what was going on. And one day I was just crying and just rubbing her belly and just praying and just feeling so sad and so heartbroken. And suddenly I felt like this energy came out of my hand. And what comes to my mind is like virtue, like a Bible verse and that says that Jesus, that virtue was coming out of his hand. That's what came to me. And the next day, Mia was completely healed. Like nothing was happening. I didn't say a word because I was like, what the freak is going on? I knew that she was healed in that moment. And at the same time, I was so scared to say it. And my aunt and the vet and everybody were like, this doesn't make any sense because yesterday she was vomiting and diarrhea, her so out, and today she's completely fine. And I knew that that virtue that belongs to all of us and that is inside of all of us just healed her. And it was so powerful. And I've had a million other experiences after that. Why is the name of 11? Yeah, they show Stranger Things, and also because my birthday is 1/11. So I said, you are an extension of me, so your name is gonna be 11. And yeah, those are some of my stories. Juliet.
Bernie, do you
Yeah,
remember where you were when we got cut off?
I'm still in the same seat.
Same
There's
thought?
there's just listening to Juan Carlos talking. The 11 sitting on your heart saved your life. 11 looked you in the eyes as Walter did to my younger son and picked him out. I mean, they pick us out. I mean, that's what each of you are talking about. They can be such good friends. As I was telling Shanice, I've had dogs listen to me very, very, very well. They're very empathic, better than human beings could listen to me talk. They're right there and just better. They're open. They don't have a question. They don't have to go flipping off to something. They're right there. And as I hear these stories and how wonderful animals are for us, and a friend of mine probably healed her cat, of a major problem. She felt the problem in herself, or the cat did, and then the cat was all right, and then she recovered from it. They show us how interconnected we are with our surroundings, and particularly with these animals. But then I wonder, as the tons of dog poop that are being deposited on the ground and other places, because dogs are so wonderful, but they do litter the environment with, no, people are nice at picking it up, but a lot of people don't.
Oh, Julia's dog.
Guilty of that sometimes.
Well, so are a lot of people. And as I look at that and we wonder about our own destruction of our own environment, I wonder that maybe the dogs and the cats and the ravens and the elephants, and for me, the trees, are trying to tell us that maybe we, with all us human beings around, should be doing this more for each other, what the animals are teaching us we can do with them. There's a big aching in my heart for what the animals are making up that we can't do for each other.
That's so powerful, and that really resonates and touches my heart deeply. And my whole life, and especially very strongly this year, I just feel such a strong call, and I can hear the whales say, we need to heal the oceans, we need to heal the waters, we need to come back to the water, we need to stop destroying our planet. And to me, their frequency of the whales and the sharks and the dolphins, they're keeping this whole multidimensional ecosystem together. And if you feel that this is for you, I want to ask you, and also reminding myself that this is the year to heal the waters, and even the other day, Devan and one of our kids, we went to nature here. We live around mountains, and there's a lake over there, so beautiful. And we went to pick up litter, and I was just, Mother Nature, thank you, thank you. Thank you for this honor of just cleansing you and just contributing in some way, because without you, we're dead. And we need to make our little part. And I just want to honor each and every one of you for being here and for answering the call. And you play such an important role. So please listen to what Bernie just said, because each one are stewards of our planet, stewards of this life. And it's our responsibility to continue making the best of this world and create new Earth. And looks like Shanice want to say something.
Hang on just a sec. Shanice and Brian, this may relate. We wanted to do one more shorter breakout and just invite you to share a story when you've had healing connection with animals. They healed each other, they healed humans, you healed them. A story of healing, whatever that might mean to you. So we'll give you 10 minutes and then the 1 minute bonus to wrap up. Shanice and Brian, can I just ask you to make sure to note what you wanted to share, and let's do it in the final breakout. We'll debrief when we get back, okay? So, but do keep that thought, because we'll be able to share any other lingering thoughts after we come back. So share stories of healing together with the animals. And if plants and trees, other beings are the ones that you have that connection and communication and healing with, please feel free to also do all of our plant friends, any species, any class, any genus, the fungi, the slime molds, whatever it is that resonates with you. Like, let's just share our stories of healing, and we'll see you back in 11 minutes. 11. All right. Hello, glad you're back. And we'd love to hear from some of you. How was that conversation, or what's in your heart right now to share? We've got 6 more minutes till the kind of formal ending of our program, and we usually stay on about 15 minutes extra for those that might have something extra to share that we don't quite get to in the 90 minutes if you have time, but we know some of you will need to go right on time. Shanice, come on, there you go.
Oh, I just wanted to invert what I was going to say before we went into the breakout room. What Bernie had mentioned is like really spot on. I really feel like they are rewaking us up to that's how we should be to one another, even though we're not. And then Jean-Claude, he brought up the fact about the whales. And I was telling Bernie in the last breakout room that they just said something, that we humans have discovered their language and we can communicate with them now. And it's like, I believe they are what Jean-Claude was saying. They're telling us, you know what I'm saying? We have to heal, you know what I'm saying? We have to take care of the water. We have to take care of this. They're also probably telling some of us to leave them alone too. But we need to communicate. We need to bring bring that back. And that's what I feel like our animals are definitely doing. So yeah, I just want to, and then also too, interestingly enough, my cat is named Seven. I was in group 7 the first time, and I was in group 7 this last time. So that's
Wow.
it for you.
777 for you today.
Yes.
And that's my life path number 7, and Devon's life path number.
Yeah, thank you. Daisy was asking in the chat, Giancarlo, did you actually have a video you had wanted to show us, or were you just summarizing it for us?
I was summarizing it because I didn't find the link.
Oh, okay. Yeah, kahu, that was, can you spell
Yeah.
that, the Hawaiian word for our pet
It's
babies?
kahu, like this. You will probably find a lot of videos on YouTube and Instagram if you search for it, and I hope you do because it's really, really beautiful.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that about how they appreciate and respect and understand the relationship to the animals in their lives. Brian, I see your hand now too. Thanks for coming back up.
So I wanted to mention Anna Breitenbach. She's becoming a well-known animal communicator. She's from South Africa, and she posts. She's had a lot of interviews on YouTube, and some of her. She's very powerful, and it's all quite fascinating. And she's serving as a bridge between humans and the rest of the animal world. And when there were some tears earlier, and that reminded me of the way that she's been responding to what humans have been doing to the planet, and the ways that animals are trying to communicate with us. So I'd encourage people to check her out.
Yeah, I think there's a
Will
whole
you type her
documentary.
name?
Yeah, Anna Breitenbach. Maybe I'll try to find a.
I tried to put her name in the chat, but I spelled it wrong, so I'm sorry.
Yeah, Brian, do you recall the spelling of her last name?
If I find it, I think it's Breytenbach. I think that's it. It's similar to that.
Okay. Yeah, and I was studying a lot about all the different animal communicators that I could find during the pandemic, because I was so moved and inspired and relieved that the humans could not move about and cause pollution, and the animals got to come back and be restored, and how quickly animals and plants started to move in new ways and do natural, beautiful, wonderful things without the humans impeding so much of their lives and their capacities. And I was watching the documentaries with Anna Breitenbach, and one of the things she said in a more recent either podcast or video or documentary was she had worked with animals for a really long time and was a vegetarian as a result of not wanting to consume those animals. And her senses keep deepening and expanding in her life with her experience. And I think she was just laying on the ground, and the individual blades of grass started communicating with her. And she started tuning into the sentience of the plants, and each plant and the connectedness of the trees. You know, there are these compound beings. The tree we see above ground is maybe not the only tree from that root system. It's even hard to know where one tree ends and another begins, which is why taking trees out and trying to plant one in your yard, they often die, because they're not single entities. We're taking a shoot off of it and trying to regrow the whole creature, but they're ecosystem based. And so she started communicating with the ecosystems and with the plant sentience, the plant awareness and consciousness. And, you know, they have altruism and cooperation and caring and concern and deep relationships, just like Veronica was detailing with the animals. We're finding all of it with the mushrooms and the trees and the plants as well. And then Anna was saying, now I don't quite know what to eat. Because the parrots they're talking to me, and I wasn't eating the animals because they were talking to me, and I didn't want to eat the ones communicating with me, but now it's all communicating with me. So then what's left to eat? So we just have to kind of have some grace and decide for ourselves what we feel like is ethically sourced, and what we feel like is right for our body and our heart and our soul. But it is important to think about what we eat and how we eat, where those things come from. And
but if you are eating, if you aren't eating animals, you are eating way fewer plants too. So if you get, because a pound of plants does not equal a pound of cow and a pound of, and so, I'm just saying, I think the resident vegan here has to,
has to say, so you can look at the environmental carbon, ecological impacts as well.
Fewer plants by eating fewer animals. Yeah. So the plants benefit as well. And that makes less farmland, and that makes less, of our impact in general, because we don't have to grow as many plants if we eat the plants versus the animals that eat the plants. So anyway.
Yeah, thank you. If anyone needs to go, let's just take a quick moment to just acknowledge Veronica and Jean Carlo. We put a lot of thought and shared a lot of stories and ideas in this session. Here's my baby Sorsha. She always likes to be on camera. And, it's such an important topic, and hopefully we'll do it again and keep discussing these issues. We'll stay on for a few more minutes for all of you that can stay with us. So far, no one's logged off. So glad to see you all with us. And Bernie's going to maybe go. We'll be back next month, and we have speaker series. We got 2 speaker series coming up between now and the May Cafe. So hopefully we'll see you at all of our events. Make sure you go on the website, thecoincidenceproject.net, and sign up for the email list. If you found us through some other link, make sure you're on our email list so you get the notice of all the different meetings. And we are a nonprofit, so we exist only because of donations. So if that's something that you're able to do, we're going into a spring fundraiser right now, towards now and the end of May, and our goal is to have at least 20 new donors that haven't donated, and it might be $5. You're still a new donor for us. Could be 500, and we are going to give you huge thanks if it is. But please do think about that.
I'd like to donate.
I'll put the donate link in the chat as soon as I stop talking so I can toggle to get it. Please do join us for our spring fundraiser. If you can give a little something, we greatly appreciate it. It allows us to keep all of this free for everyone else. I see Sue's hand and then Julia's hand. Come off mute, Sue. What do you have to share?
Yes, sorry, trying to come off mute. I wanted to mention about a comment about people who worry about the climate change and as far as look what we have done to the earth and how did we get here and so forth. And I just wanted to say something that it felt very strongly about is we cannot blame or worry about how we got here and get too wrapped up in that, because I think we had to learn these lessons and get to this point, and also we had to develop a technology that in the end I think a lot of it will come into play to assist us in mitigating the climate change effects. We're going to find solutions. We're going to have a lot of educated people really working very hard to get us out of this position. There's so many other climatic disasters we could have had, like some kind of problems with the sun, which would have put us in an ice age or whatever. But I think we are actually very well positioned to be able to handle things, even as we will see suffering. We will see certain parts of the earth, as we already are seeing, devastated by the effects of climate change. But we just have to think of, we're moving forward. We're going to encourage a lot of people to work on the problem, and we're going to get out of this, even as we will have a lot of work to do. So I just when I see groups of people discussing it and get so so upset, I just think of it this way: we just had to get to this point, and now we're going to work on this problem very assiduously. But I'm glad everybody is so concerned. Good job, everybody.
We are making a difference as we progress. We have made a difference, and we're, things are getting better, and our choices do matter. And I think that is important to remember, is the choices you make do matter, and they do, and we are making that difference. And we can, as you said, we can come back from this, I think, if we really try.
Julia.
Hi. I'm really nervous because it's the first time I've ever joined you all today.
Welcome.
Thank you. And also, I'm like a dinosaur with technology, so it took me ages to figure out what was going on with Zoom, so I apologize. But I'm from the UK, and I found the Coincidence project online about 3 weeks ago, and then Bernard wrote back to me something, and I've been meaning to go onto the website and upload like synchronicities, but there's so many. My life's so busy, but I will do it now. Tonight I'll do it. But I was kind of looking for something like the Coincidence project, and I was amazed when I realized that it existed. I was like, wow, like, when you're looking for answers. So I just wanted to say, so is it yourself that's set it up with Bernard, or like, what is it about? Sorry if you don't mind me asking.
Sure. There may be others that are curious about it. So the quick thing, Bernie's been studying coincidences in the later part of his very accomplished career as a psychoanalyst and chairman of psychiatry for 17 years at the university. His later part of his research has all focused on meaningful coincidence and synchronicity, and publishing a lot on it since 2010. And we became friends in 2015. I was also at a university for 16 years. I left in early 2020, and he was like, hey, you have some time on your hands. Let's go launch this coincidence project thing, because we'd been starting to talk about it over being friends for 5 years. And he wanted a global group that could help take this to the mainstream. We really want everybody in every continent, every walk of life, every shape, size, age, gender, lack of gender, religion, lack of religion. We all have meaningful coincidences in our lives. So it's a universal occurrence that can connect us outside of our differences. And we really want to apply that connectedness to doing something positive to help make the world a better place. So we want to work on co-creating that vision with all of you guys. How can we take this, not just from the place of awareness and maybe, awakening our hearts, like today's session is really like, I think, resonated in the hearts of all of us here, and hopefully those that will see this video. And we want to begin doing constructive activities that continue to help more people realize this is a common occurrence, and we could be talking about it, making meaning from it, deriving more discernment about how to navigate well in our lives, and to find more choices, more possibilities. One of the things that helps define privilege is having lots of options and possibilities. There's a lot of oppressed people, and the coincidence and synchronicity is just one place where maybe we can empower people regardless of circumstances to have more options, more possibilities, more opportunity to thrive, to be resilient, to flourish. And collectively then we want to work on social change issues.
Yeah, sorry. See, I don't know if everyone else sort of found this coincidence project in a similar sort of way, but I've just been very enlightened like the last few years, and I've opened my eyes to a lot of things. And then I realized just how many, like looking back, how many coincidences I've had that have been so regular, but I'd not realised the importance of them at the time. And then I had 3 coincidences that happened that were very, very powerful in very quick succession. And I was like, there's more to this, and that's how I found yourselves. But if it's okay, can I just share a quick story, hopefully a quick story, about an animal? Because I didn't get to do this because, sorry, I have actually got my little boys just come in the room. Sorry, 1 second. Just 1 second. But basically, no, I'll give you a quick hug now. I'm just talking, sorry. 2 minutes, 2 minutes, I promise. I feel really mean now, but you'll distract me. So basically in lockdown, or just before we went into lockdown over here, there was an old lady that lived next door, and I'd befriended her, and we were really, really close. And when, unfortunately, she had a stroke and she ended up going into a nursing home, and suddenly I felt very alone because then we were put in lockdown and everything. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this little bird, it was like a little blue tit or something, and it started like coming and tapping on the kitchen window every single day. It tapped to get my attention, and I'd be in the living room because the houses in England aren't that big. I'd be like in the living room and hear this tapping and go and see the bird like tapping on the window, and it was like it was saying hello to me, like bringing me some sort of comfort. And that went on for weeks, and I still think about the bird all the time, like it was a comforting thing. And I think it must have known that I was on my own, or so, I don't know, it sounds crazy, but I really felt like it was coming to give me a bit of comfort every day, you know, saying you can do this kind of thing. And I was really missing the lady next door. As I said, felt very alone. And yeah, so that was one of my animal stories. So,
and a good one, because it gave you healing to feel that connectedness.
Yeah.
And
it did special at the time, but now that that I've learned as much as I've learned in the last few years, because that was like 2020, I realized that it's got much more meaning and symbolism than what I originally thought.
Jane has a kitty like mine. This little girl came to also say hey to everyone. All right, she's been seen. She's good. Her name is Simunye. It's a Zulu name that means we are one.
Wow, so beautiful. And it was coming up to me that I love to share. The last time I was here with you guys co-hosting, we were at the Perry's house, and we were in the process of manifesting this house. And we have 6 dogs plus 11. And I was like, okay, guys, time to manifest this new house. I know you guys want bigger space, so let's do this. And now we're here. So I want to invite you guys to consider co-creating with your pets. If you have a problem, if you have a question, if you need clarity, whatever it is, talk to them. They will guide you. They will help you. Their frequency is so powerful that if we could like see it, it's just by us carrying our pets, our whole energy field they charge us with electricity, with energy, and they can do the same thing for our dreams. And that's why they're here with us. They have helped Juliet travel the whole world in so many dreams that it's just so beautiful and so powerful. So yeah, we're in the new home. Thank you to our babies in part as well.
And the wild animals and the plants, go on the land, be in your yard, and just, let your heart be open and share it with the world, and invite those assistants and allies and guardians, protectors, all the kahu, the kahu are not just the pets, but the plants, and even the weather, the winds, the earth is alive, and I think sentience is everywhere. So the more we're clear in our hearts and present with our dreams and our aspirations, new things are going to be possible. And we've reached our 1 hour and 45 minutes mark, so we're gonna taper this off, but we're gonna have a lovely cafe in May. with Jenna Lemaire, who's the Synchronicity Fairy. She's going to talk about how she created Synchronicity videos that had up to 4 million views. And she posted on Synchronicity every day for 365 days. She's going to share what she learned and her favorite moments, and then lead a kind of guided practice around finding symbols that are resonating and personally meaningful to you right now. So it's going to be a powerful, beautiful Coincidence Cafe, third Saturday of every month. And make sure you sign up on the email list through the website and be with us and Jenna, our Synchronicity Fairy, in May. It's going to be just fantastic. I hope some of you will get in touch with me to come and co-host on different topics that are close to your heart as well. And we'll keep going. All right. Such deep thanks to Veronica and to Jean Carlo, and then to each of you and everyone who watches this later. Let's do this, guys. Let's.
Thank you so
everyone,
much. So much love to you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.